Hi, my name is Abigail Kabue, a nutritionist by profession and the founder of Nutrition and Endocrinology Hub, a private practice that deals with nutrition-related conditions, pregnancy and nutrition, lactation and nutrition, weight loss, weight management issues. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. And today we want to talk about mental health and nutrition. Not many people know that what you eat uh, affects your mental well being or how better you'll function or handle certain issues. And by this, I mean lack of certain nutrients such as folates, iron, and magnesium worsens your anxiety, worsens and increases your risk of depression and just the whole mental well-being. You'll hear someone saying, I'm just not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not able to handle certain issues. And the simple issues. Why? Because you haven't worked on your plate. And sources of these foods, there are foods that are richly available. We have vegetables and green vegetables to be specific, which are very rich in folates. We have vitamin D, which we have the sun. If you're so indoors, if you keep yourself indoors, and for example, we have countries that have winter, you find that in those countries they'll be supplemented with vitamin D because if they are not supplemented with vitamin D, they'll have other issues, and one of them is lack of mental well-being. We have iron. Iron is richly available in animal proteins, even some vegetables. Lack of iron will lead to poor performance. So you'll often hear pediatricians recommending higher intake of iron foods for children as they grow because they help in proper brain functioning. And proper brain functioning results into better performance at school. So we have probiotics. Probiotics, they are sourced from fermented foods. We have fermented porridge, we have yogurt, and probiotics are generally good bacteria. So if your body produces good bacteria, there's a high tendency of it contributing to the good functioning of the neurotransmitters. But if your body is just taking bad bacteria, let's call it bad bacteria, it results to inflammation of the body and poor functioning of the neurotransmitters. So by this, we also have the happy hormones, serotonin and dopamine. If your diet is not good, if you're not exercising, your body will not produce serotonin and dopamine the way it should be. But if you exercise, and we say, and on exercise, we say at least 30 minutes of exercise, there'll be enough production of dopamine. And generally, the plates, this plate is everything. Even as we talk about folate or intake of folate, intake of what? Intake of magnesium, intake of iron. If your plate has vegetables as half of it, if your plate has carbohydrates in some portion, if your plate has proteins in the other portion, where will you lack folic in your diet? Where will you lack magnesium in your diet? How do you even lack iron in your diet if at all you're eating a balanced diet? And probably you're exposing yourself also outside for sun exposure, hence you're getting vitamin D. You're low likely to have mental related issue. But that does not mean that even when eating this way, you can't fall into depression. There are other conditions that or risk factors of mental health. We have genetics, we have intake of certain medication that results into mental health issues. And in such places, do not make sure you go and seek for medical attention. But even when taking your medicine, make sure you watch on your diet as well as your exercise. For fruit, there's no specific fruit that I would say is just take these fruits and your mental health condition will be okay. We said this, the rainbow intake. And when we say rainbow intake, we mean generally all fruits. So if you're able to get oranges, that's okay. If you're able to get bananas which are rich in potassium, that's okay. If you're in a position of getting watermelon, and as long as you're taking the fruits, that's okay. So the only specific would be if, for instance, a fruit that is rich in vitamin C because of certain condition. And you know very well, citric fruits are rich in vitamin C. But for mental conditions, as long as you're eating fruits, generally all fruits, and as well as vegetables, that is the best way to go with a mental wellness. Generally, what your plate entails defines how you'll be able to handle certain conditions or how your mental wellness will be. And yes, so for example, if I'm just taking processed foods Monday to Friday, in my plate there are no vegetables, in my plate there's no fruits, and I'll take water when I feel thirsty or when adding to some juices. Where will I get my folates? Where will I get my, probably you may get iron from the processed meat, but where will you get the magnesium? And so lack of those nutrients will make you end up in getting anxiety issues or falling into depression. You may just have a very small issue that may not need to end up in depression, but because you're not what your diet is not okay or you're not exercising the way you should, you'll fall into depression. So yes, your diet 100%, not even 99, 100% contributes to your mental health. An individual in a specific diet, for instance, ketogenic diets, is highly likely to feel irritated most of the times and fuzzy. Why? Because ketogenic diet does not have carbohydrates or has very low intake of carbohydrates. And the brain needs sugars, and by these we mean healthy sugars to function or for energy. So if you're not eating your carbohydrates, you have a high likelihood of feeling fuzzy, feeling irritated every time, and that transpires to uh, not having a mental, or how do I say, not having a good mental condition. Thank you for listening. My name is Abigail Kabue, a nutritionist by profession, and you can find us online through Nutrition and Endocrinology Hub, or you can personally follow me on Instagram at nutritionist Nyakel Kabue. DM me and I'll get back.